So originally I was just going to break down both streams from Thursday, but after getting partway through the recording, I realized that I'm just kind of repeating what they said and making the video about 4 hours long in the process. So instead, I got the idea of just putting everything that we know so far from MLB The Show inside one video. I call this the MLB The Show Weekly Recap. Here I'm going to summarize both those streams, and I'm going to mention literally every single announcement that they have made so far to this date about MLB The Show. And we're going to start off with some that kind of sucks. They have announced that there will be no online franchise. They have announced 2 new legends for Diamond Dynasty, Ivan Pudge Rodriguez and Jimmy Fox. They have announced 2 editions for pre-orders, the MVP edition and the Gone Yard edition. There have been new fielding changes that puts a much bigger difference between the great defenders and the poor defenders. There'll be a little icon underneath their feet to tell you how good they are at that position. There is a new way to read the balls bouncing off the wall, which depends a lot on the player's ratings. There have been changes to pitching that makes off-speed pitches not so overpowered and gives penalties if you just kind of hang one in there up high. There is also a wider gap between rookie and legend, and the example was how fast fastballs go. So if you're on legend, those fastballs are going to come in super fast.
General pitch speed and speed tuning. All right, so pitch accuracy generally is just more difficult, especially as you're increasing in level, as it should be. You know, you're increasing in the ranks. It makes sense. So as you're climbing up from All-Star, Hall of Fame, Legend, you're going to notice it does get a little bit more difficult to locate your pitches. Yeah. And so, for a frame of reference, the Legend difficulty is the difference between the most accurate pitcher in our game and an average pitcher in a game, which is it's quite a bit. So this is where, you know, those stats of the pitchers that you're playing with when you're building your teams, you know, they affect the types of outcomes that you're going to get. So, you know, trying to get those guys in your lineup could be very important. Yeah.
Off-speed pitches?
Off-speed pitches were too strong.
Off-speed pitches were too strong. So this year, all off-speed pitches were reevaluated, and all off-speed pitches except for sliders are now just generally less effective. Yeah. We found that, you know, even as you climbed up the ranks, you could still paint those pitches, and you know, we saw a lot of feedback from the community just letting us know, you know, I shouldn't be able to, or why is this guy painting with, you know, with blah blah blah, and he just shouldn't be. So, you know, I think there's a huge difference here that you guys are going to notice between the accuracy and effectiveness of these off speeds. So for frame of reference, curveballs, changeups will have less movement, and also, you know. And let me get to one of the topics. Hold on, it's very important. Just the one that so it had to do with the PCI, the taking pitches, rewarding taking pitches.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't reward or there's no incentive or disincentive to swing at certain pitches. You know. Yeah. We were referring to an increase in importance on hittable pitches, and so this is what we're talking about when we reevaluated the types of pitching, or the types of pitches and how effective and not effective they are. If you have a user up there throwing those changeups consistently, you know, as a hitter in real life, you're going to recognize that. So as a user, you're also going to recognize that. You're going to sit on that pitch, and you're going to be rewarded for driving that pitch up in the zone, like in the gaps. Yeah.
If you go to the plate with a player in Diamond Dynasty, there'll be a small little icon telling you exactly what type of hitter that player is. And this year, you're not going to just fill your lineup with power hitters. They have reworked the way contact hitters work this year. Yes, pure contact hitters have been buffed this year, as long as they knew squared up for their swing analysis. With the swing analysis, they have also reworked the plate coverage indicator and made the timing much more important than ever. So don't just worry about where your icon is. Worry about that timing.
Talk a lot about the timing window. So PCI is still as important as it ever has been. Right. So, but one of the things that people seem to not completely understand when they talk about hitting is that even though the PCI, when you're looking at it pre-pitch, is in a sort of a 2D frame of mind, it's not a 2D system, right? When you swing, you have to think about if that pitch comes in on the inside corner, you need to get your bat around through the zone earlier. You need to swing earlier, right? And when we talk about the timing window, any pitch, depending on where it's at, has a timing window based on its location in the zone. And that even that good timing window, we've talked about this in the past, but that good timing window is a spectrum from real good to good, right? And so the just late is not terrible, but it's out of the good window. So like this year, the timing window is a lot more important. And what we meant when what we're talking about is that PCI is still important, but timing is even more important. And that's going to raise the skill cap.
Absolutely.
Right? Because not only does it matter that you're able to square the PCI up, we're also talking about frames of timing and how accurate you can be. And some of the best players in the world are a lot better with timing than World Series players, than really good players. So it's more about differentiating the difference between good and great players so that skill cap can be raised.
Now you're able, again, like...
Something controversial that they mentioned is that you will not be able to cancel a steal this year. So once you're going, you're gone.
Right? This is the one that everybody online, I'd love to see what they're writing in the chat right now. Okay, so this is the pitch out exploit, where people would always turn around on a pitch out every single time they would see, and you would throw to second, he would make it back to first safely.
He slips now.
So now, thanks to Kyle in the motion capture studio, almost pulling his hamstring.
Hey, worth it.
How many takes, Kyle?
It was probably 30 or 40.
Yep.
No, he did it pretty quick. Just a couple. Pretty cool looking animation, but hey, look, all we're trying to do is make people play fairly, competitively, have fun, and not take advantage of the game and other people. Now, if other people are sleeping on the job, and you can take advantage of it, take advantage of it, but it's not going to be the game's fault, right? So we're not going to allow you to take off and steal, and every time you see a pitch out, just go back to first safely. That just kind of defeats the whole purpose of a pitch out.
He slips every time.
So now, when you pitch out, you have a better shot at getting the guy at second base, right? Because people aren't going to be turning around anymore when they have that slip and fall. Okay.
Part of their defensive overhaul is reworking the way the fielders are rated. They have announced that they have a new system, but they haven't told us how they do it. They have also released ratings for 3 players' fielding ratings, not their overall, just the ratings in the field. Also worth mentioning is that if you play someone out of position, he is going to struggle. They've also reworked the meter when you're throwing the ball. If you have a guy out there that has tremendous accuracy, then that sweet spot is going to be so big for you. But on the flip side, if you got someone who's never played that position before, prepare for some errors. And this goes for secondary positions as well. Obviously, an outfielder who's just playing left instead of right is going to be better than some Joe Schmo that's out there. But his routes and reaction time is going to be way different than if you just had your regular old outfielder out there.
And if you, yeah, exactly. Okay, go back. There you go. That's fine. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit smaller than that. We're still working on this meter. Him being out of position, totally out of position from a catcher to shortstop. You can see, first of all, it's really difficult for him to hit that nail the green sweet spot on the meter. And again, his is going to be smaller. And then when we get to Simmons, it's going to be bigger than what you're seeing. So you'll see it scale though on these 3 examples. Okay, go ahead. The next one, you're going to see me go into the sub menu here, and I'm going to swap out LaCroix with Cozart, and I'm going to put Cozart over at shortstop here. You see the switch. And Cozart actually got drafted as a shortstop, so he's very serviceable at short. He's going to be able to make plays. It's his secondary position, so he looks fine. You can see I nailed the green. It was a little bit bigger than LaCroix's. And then now you're going to see Simmons, who arguably is the best shortstop in the game.
And there's a lot of nuance in this play you're about to see with Simmons too.
Yeah, you can just see how smooth he's going to be.
Yeah, so now you're going to see a bigger sweet spot on the meter. And is that where it finished? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so there's 3. That's a really good example. I really like that example because it really demonstrates a lot of what I've already talked about. It demonstrates the difference in the meter. So that's part of that is, like I was saying, there's user skills involved in trying to nail that meter. And then also the attribute obviously is a big factor in how that meter looks, right? So the button accuracy meter, it's changed this year. It's way more efficient, whereas last year you would have to wait for that. So as soon as you initiated the button, the throw sometimes wouldn't branch because you'd still be holding it to get it to the green.
Right.
Now we're registering the throw on the button push. So wherever that guy releases the ball and wherever you're at on that meter, that's what you're going to get. So it helps you turn double plays. It's way more efficient.
And probably the biggest thing for me personally is that they have fixed bunts. I believe it was MLB 16 where bunts were very overpowered and everyone was doing it online. So as a way to counter that, they introduced this kind of rocket bunt mechanic to prevent you from bunting every single time. The problem with that is now they made it so you can't do a regular old sacrifice with your pitcher. And this year they've changed that. The bunt is back in the game. Welcome back some small ball. I am going to be laying down sacrifices every time I'm in a National League.
Vital part of the game. You know, I know that power in the MLB is huge, but occasionally there's a few managers who like to bunt. They don't want the dinger. So I think it's important that we bring it back in the game, and it's a vital part of the game and a strategy. Respect the game.
But you will still be punished if you try to bunt in non-bunting situations.
Absolutely.
And if you just try to spam bunt, you're going to be punished for doing that.
If you're up there and you miss your first bunt and you miss your second bunt, you're going to progressively get worse. That third baseman will recognize it if you are a good bunter. If you're a poor bunter, he's like, no, I'm not going to worry about you. Obviously, your skills.
Yeah,
and if what it is.
If you're on the borderline, the threshold, they will react according to how often the team is bunting. So if somebody's bunting a lot, that third baseman's going to be more likely to come up and cover it.
So
we got a video here, Kyle.
Yeah. So
videos.
Here we got pitcher up at the plate.
Roll it.
Runner on second.
Roll that beautiful bunt footage.
And you know, in some situations, you want to get this guy to third. I mean, Bumgarner, you might want to let him hit.
And this is online footage, by the way.
This is online footage.
This is all online footage. We capture this footage online.
Yeah, we can just play. Yeah, play one more time, Matt. The fact that we're getting it out there, guy can easily get to third with good speed. Those are the types of situations that we want. We don't want to punish you for having guys that can bunt on your team. You know, we want those guys to obviously be viable in your lineups. And so it's important that we brought that back and also brought it back in just the right situations and the right strategy.
So speaking of bunting, bunt influence.
Yeah,
people noticed
Somebody
noticed that. Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so pre-pitch, you can use your right analog stick to influence the bunt to the drag or push side, however you want. You'll get some feedback with your controller, letting you know that your influence has been accepted, and then when you go to square to bunt for either the sack or also drag or push, whatever you had influence before, hopefully you can get it down if you're bunting with a good bunter, right situation, not Pablo Sandoval.
Not being a weirdo.
And exactly. We really tried to play up the strategy in it and the situational. You can't be just dropping bunts down.
Respect the game.
Yeah, essentially that's what it is. If you haven't bunted with D. Gordon all game, maybe that third baseman knows he hasn't dropped the bunt, and maybe you can sneak one past him if he decided to draw himself back. Probably not.
Yeah.
But
So what that means, if you're connecting the dots, is that if you want to use a bunt successfully in the right situation, you shouldn't be bunting in not right situations.
Exactly.
You'll be more likely to successfully lay down a bunt if you're only doing it in successful situations, like the right situations to lay down a successful.
And also, while you're watching all the footage, if you see any player ratings, they are not final. It's one of the last things Luis is going to touch. So we have any more videos?
We have two more.
Two more.
Here we have, and this is with the shift on.
And now a bunt attempt here.
Right down line. And this is obviously not to say every time it gets down, but
no, most of the time
it doesn't get down, but it's there for you as a tool and an option, and it puts a little bit of pressure on the user on defense when thinking about those shifts. And I think we have one more. Here we got a runner on third, so safety squeezes. A lot of times those rocket bunts were hit so hard, you could get it home quick enough and get the out, which obviously sucked. So we tried to right here. And you gotta know the runner as well. That in this situation, actually, the AI pitcher realized, oh, I can't get him at home. I'll just take the out at first. So it's a nice little combination of the bunting, the new bunting in the game, as well as the defensive stuff that we talked about earlier with pitchers, infielders recognizing.
Cool.
And here's some that wasn't showcased on the streams, and I actually found it because of someone that has eagle eyes on Reddit. This is a presentation little thing, but MLB Network shows are now being advertised on the in-game stadiums. MLB The Network integration has been in for a little while now, I believe 2 years. One of the graphics packages in the game is MLB Network. Maybe in the future we could have some sort of monthly show inside franchise mode with MLB Network, just like NFL 2K5 used to have weekly. Oh, the possibilities. But that's the future, and this is now. And this has been the weekly recap, as I'm calling it. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Hit that alert button for notifications when we have a video. And be prepared for some more MLB content, because this has just been gameplay. MLB Monday is tomorrow. Watch out for that.